Come check out the latest Adeptus Custodes unit from Forge World. Spiky Bits. What's going on, Hobby Maniacs? Baer with you again today, taking a look at the Legio Custodes Pallas Grav attack. At least I think that's how you say it. That's how the traditional Greek and Roman mythology says it, at least that I remember. Now, I believe Pallas was the brother or sister, I forget. I think it might be different in each one, of, I want to say Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. And I want to say something happened, but something, the person died, I believe it was. But anyways, long story short, quick and maneuverable, that is definitely carried over to this particular kit right here. Like, this is basically a Custodes land speeder, for lack of a better term. Now, there are no rules for it as of right now for the Burning of Prospero, or excuse me, the new Inferno Book 7 should be out in a few weeks, but unfortunately we don't know the rules yet, but we can only kind of come up with an idea given the clues from Forge World's site. They say it is it fills a similar battlefield role to the various patterns of land speeder and attack speeder of the Legions Astartes. The Pallas has superior agility, improved armor, inbuilt shielding technology, and much powerful weaponry in the form of its twin-link Arcanus Blaze Cannon, an expertly engineered weapon that can successfully eliminate both infantry and armored targets. Dun dun dun! So, I don't know what all that means, but I imagine it would have the Grav Backwash special rule, at least like its sister-kin or brother-kin, the Custodes Grav tank, which was the heavy straight-up tank. Now, we know there's going to be like a armored troop transport, like a Razorback kind of type deal as well coming out from them, but as we've seen it at the open days, but it has not been revealed to us yet. So here's a look at it. Boom. You can see the twin-linked Arcanus Blaze Cannons that we were talking about earlier, and the separate nacelles, I guess, engine anti-grav nacelles there, and then the pilot ingress and egress kind of canopy right there. Obviously a very easy assembly. It's like, what, 8 pieces, maybe 16 if you know, talk about mirroring them all right there. It looks very easy to put together once you trim down the sprue gates and things like that. There's the right nacelle, the hull assembly. I mean, this should go pretty quick. And the front guns and the control surfaces, or the rudders right there, and you can see all the detail in there, all the anti-grav little stud kind of things right there. So it looks like pretty easy to put together, pretty easy to get on the tabletop. Now, this is a $60 kit, so I think the math is, what is that, about $70 US monies. And when we dump it out, we got lots of exciting parts. Now, this was wrapped in bubble wrap, wrapped in a envelope, etc., etc. Now we have the larger stand. Now this is not the 90, the small cavalry base. Actually, I don't know. Oh, this is the 105. So this is the 105 wide. So this is the large cavalry base right here, and of course it comes with that new styled, newfangled flight stand where you can basically just attach it right there, and then this is going to go up into the model itself. So that allows any size plastic base to become, in a pinch, a flight stand, which I think is pretty ingenious on Forge World's part right there. So I'm definitely looking forward to a lot more of that in the future. Now here's the rear piece here, and you can see there's a lot of spaces that you're going to need to trim down, like right in there with all those gates and those flutes. But look at the detailing. I mean, there's no bubbles or anything in the undercuts right there. These are all very good parts. You can see there's little wires and things all over the place, little fans, little buttons and doodads and doohickeys. Really well cast piece right here. Now, another thing about this, you want to make sure that you get all these gates off here, because this has to fit flush up into the back of the cockpit piece right here. So if you don't do that, these two pieces aren't going to fit together very well, and you're going to make a wonky assembly, and nobody wants that. Now this it appears that this kind of sets at a canter almost. Let's see. Oh, I can't do it because that one right there. But you kind of get the idea there. Like, this does not look this looks to be slightly cantered down so the cockpit can see. And then the nacelles themselves are also very well detailed. You got some exhaust right there. You might have to trim some of the pieces, some extra vector thrust and wires. But it looks a lot like a Falcon Grav tank almost in that regard. When you flip it over, you're like, I don't know, is that a Falcon Grav tank? It looks pretty similar, but nope, it's not. It's got some grills and then all the familiar trim that we'd see from something from the Imperium of Man, or, you know, Codex Imperials. Go Team Imperials. There's that. And then here's the control surfaces that attach at the bottom. Again, very easy kit to put together. It does not seem like it is very complicated. And here's the Custodes. I think it was called, what were these guns called here? Where's my instruction video? Okay, this. Oh yeah, it does say on their site that the rules for it will be in book 7. So unfortunately, there's no free download on Forge World site. Oh, the Arcanist. It's the Arcanist gun. So there's the twin link Arcanist gun that locks in right there. Pew, 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 pew. And here's the engines themselves. And it looks like they got some sort of little thrust afterburner vectoring kind of thing. Like they could open all these up to kind of spread the thrust or directionalize it with some of these vents in the bottom, which again, very well detailed. Look at all the studs and everything. These, you can literally tell those are little hinges right there. Like, I mean, Forge World's really on point with this new computer game they got going on over there. And I mean, all that right there. Now, that's a lot of surface to paint. So you might want to consider maybe airbrushing it or doing some glazes, or picking up some of the decals, or the transfer sheets, whatever you want to call it, to kind of adorn some of that dead space right there, because it is a lot of large, open, flat area. And then here's the this isn't the Aquila, this is the, what is this, the Eagle Palatine, the official icon of the Emperor himself, I believe it is. Now, speaking of the decal sheet, I showed you this with the Custodes, whatever they want to call it, the actual attack tank for the Custodes, but we still have it here as well, just to give you an idea of how cool this thing is and some of the stuff you can do with it. Here it is. Very cool stuff there, like lots of little wreaths and ornate kind of styling and squiggle-bobbers and swirlies. And then, of course, you've got some of the Great Crusade stuff here, some of the Terran campaign stuff. I mean, I don't know what this one is. What does that mean? I guess it's not the first. Oh, maybe that's I for Inquisition. I was like, First Legion's Dark Angels. And then these very well stylized. You put this over a dark background, and this really pops, like it almost like it's painted on, like already colored. And then look at all this. Like, if you want to put this down on something, you could cut it there. You've got, of course, you know, attention or warning icons that can be put all over anywhere here. You know, you see those traditional with aircraft sometimes. And then all of these great heraldry badges, and of course, some dope looking swords. More and more detail everywhere right there. So you can put these around the corners, you know, of just to kind of break it up and stuff like that. It would be very easy to do, and I think also very rewarding. I want to say this is about $25 for a decal sheet from Forge World as well. I'm not sure if these are currently available over on Forge World site. I'll have to check. I actually didn't check that one out when we were going to record this one here. So another great kit from Forge World, but we have yet to see the rules for. Now, I said they said it was heavily armored, like more heavily armored, so I imagine this might be a speeder that's armor 12 or perhaps armor 13. The actual tank, the Custodes, has the flare shield, as well as, I think he has the option to take, armored ceramite and extra armor. I'm sure that would be conveyed over. I imagine the Javelin will have similar rules in Horus Heresy, perhaps, so you could check those rules out to get an idea. But chances are, by the time this comes out, it's only going to be a few weeks until that book releases, book 7, Inferno from Forge World, where we see all the rules for the Custodes, hopefully the Sisters of Silence, obviously these vehicles, and then of course, you know, stuff like the dreadnoughts and things that we have already reviewed here on the channel previously, along with the Custodes tank. But we have the Custodes tank rules because they put that out, I want to say about a month ago or so, something along those lines. So overall, I think it's great middle step child to the Custodes releases, and I'm really digging this custom flight stand. I think we're going to see a lot more of that from Forge-Roll because it allows them to just make these two parts and then put it on any size base. You know, whether it's the Dreadnought size, the Knight Titan size, a round oval, something like that. And then right there, I mean, that's a pretty deep slot. Like, I could see it just sitting up in there and, you know, just basically sitting there on top of it at a perfect, you know, perfect weight and just kind of balancing, you know, instead of what we've seen in the past where people snap their, you know, their stems off and all sorts of things like that. This actually has some girth to it, you know, so to speak, right there. So it has some width and some girth. This, however, you got to be a little careful with. It's very delicate, but once you get it glued down on that surface area, it should definitely come into play and keep it nice and secure there. So that's it for this one, folks. Thanks for checking out our first look, review, and unboxing of the Legio Custodes Pallas Grav tank from Forge-Roll.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.